you were absolutely satisfied and happy with your service to Jehovah? Have you ever begun a prayer to Jehovah and as you begin you just stop and say, look, there's no point. There's no point praying to Jehovah because I've made too many mistakes. I'm sure he's disappointed in me. Is he disappointed? Are we going to assume what Jehovah thinks and make decisions for him? You know, sometimes we beat ourselves up over mistakes that we've made. And of course, yeah, we have to be repentant. We have to have the right heart condition, don't we? But when Jehovah says, as far as the sunrise is from the sunset, he'll put our mistakes, he means it, doesn't he? Sometimes we feel like we just can't get ourselves together. It's frustrating. We really want to give Jehovah our very best, but it's just not happening. You don't think that Jehovah knows how we feel? We feel terrible. We get down. We damage ourselves. And of course, we want to give Jehovah perfect service because he deserves the best. But it's not possible. We're too far from perfection. Our desire, and it's only a desire, is perfect worship. Only Jesus could do that, couldn't he? Have a look at a scripture here in Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 21. Now you may not find too much encouragement from this scripture, but have a look at it anyway. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 21. It says there, for only the upright will reside in the earth, and the blameless will remain in it. Does that scripture make you feel any better? Blameless. Could we say we're blameless as we sink a little bit in our seats and think, oh, maybe I'm not blameless. Maybe some brothers and sisters have been in the truth for a long time. Maybe it's them, but it's not me. Well, why are we sitting here for 3 days? Have you asked yourself, why have we put all the time, all the effort, all our energy to sit here for 7-8 hours every single day this weekend, dragging the kids out of bed with their legs, trying to get them ready for the convention, trying to get everything together? If you're suffering some sort of illness or emotional pain, you're probably waking up in pain, sitting here the whole day in pain, going home in pain. Are we doing that just to be reminded how imperfect we are, how bad we're doing at serving Jehovah? Of course not. We're working hard to keep our integrity, to serve Jehovah the best way that we can. Have a look at another scripture here in Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 20. You might not find great encouragement from this scripture either. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 20. It says, those crooked at heart are detestable to Jehovah, but those whose way is blameless bring pleasure to him. So there's that word again, blameless. Maybe we'll just pretend it's not there, or skip over it, and as we sink into our seat a little bit more, make sure you don't end up on the floor. But you know, I'm not blameless. It's not a confession, but none of us are we? But there we go, thinking for Jehovah again. The word blameless means faultless, sound, perfect. Does that make you feel any better? Probably not. Will Jehovah accept our worship? You know, when the Bible uses this word blameless, it's always to be viewed as relative. It's dependent on the circumstances. So we assume that we're not blameless, that we're useless to Jehovah because of mistakes. But there we go, thinking for Jehovah again, because he thinks very differently. Job, Zechariah, the Apostle Paul, and others in the Bible were described as being blameless. Wasn't the Apostle Paul involved in the murder of Christians? And yet, he measured up to what Jehovah expected of humans. Though faithful, made mistakes. So, it's clear to us then that Jehovah views us as faultless, as blameless, in the sense that we measure up to his requirements, despite imperfection, disability, weakness, imperfect humans. We make mistakes because of our imperfection, but we manifest a complete heart towards Jehovah. So since Jehovah's be able to stay the same? Do we see potential in other people? If somebody has a piece of food on their face or a mark on their face, we notice it straight away, don't we? Let alone the mistakes that they make at times. And yet Jehovah's able to look past this. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of Humpty Dumpty, but you remember he fell off the wall and he smashed into loads of different pieces. Now it says all the king's horses and men tried to come along and put him back together again, but they just couldn't. They were trying to put all the pieces together and it just wasn't happening. It seemed like we have some extra pieces left over as well that weren't there in the first place, and they just couldn't put them back together again. Did you ever feel like that? When things happen in our lives, you know, and we're trying to put ourselves back together again and we have all these extra pieces that we never had before. It's just not happening for us, is it? It's like we have this physical or emotional baggage now that we have to carry. We just want things to go back to normal, as they were before, or what we consider to be normal, but we just can't get it together. But we know that Jehovah's the one that's going to put all those pieces back together, and they're going to fit perfectly. But for the moment, the ability to serve Jehovah perfectly is only a desire. We look forward to that potential. But when do we think about being able to do that? Do we take time to realize that we're going to be able to serve Jehovah perfectly at some point? What will it be like? All we know is sin, guilt, mistakes, this system. But notice how one brother takes the time before bed to think about what he'll say in his prayer to Jehovah.
Mate, it's in for bed. Really need to give some thought on what can I say to Jehovah in prayer tonight. Going through the study this evening, it's given me some really good suggestions there on how I can battle this weakness that I have, and I'm really going to need Jehovah's help and strength in being able to win this battle. I really look forward to wonderful times that we have ahead when we can really give Jehovah worship that he deserves, and we can worship perfectly. It won't be tainted by imperfection. We can truly bring every thought into captivity, make it obedient to the Christ. We're going to have to make our thoughts obedient. Everyone's thoughts will be inclined to the man of God's word, because we'll be perfect. But of course, the battle continues. I have a struggle like that. The Apostle Paul, when he said, when I wish to do what is right, what is bad is present in me, and I can really relate to them words. Often I want to do what's right, but I don't always succeed. We can really look to the time when we're able to serve Jehovah perfectly. We won't have them struggles anymore. I'm not going to allow anything to prevent me from enjoying that future kingdom blessing that I have to look forward to. The times like stumble and fall, but I can really look to Jehovah to help me to get back up, and really keep in mind the words in Proverbs chapter 24 verse 16, when he says, get up. And I'm going to keep getting up until I'm not going to fall down anymore. So I really want to thank Jehovah for that wonderful time that I have to look forward to. Definitely going to include that in my prayer tonight.
He doesn't usually go to bed in his suit. But you know, this does help us, doesn't it, to imagine being able to serve Jehovah perfectly. Everyone in the universe praising Jehovah at the end of that 1,000 years. Mankind being raised to perfection, united in serving Jehovah. The worse the system gets, the more problems we're going to have, the more our heart is going to hurt. But the promise we have is going to help us to keep focused and determined to fight any problem we have to the very end. longer being hindered by language barriers. The third talk showed a family during family worship evening anticipating the blessing of perfect health. The fourth talk showed an elder and a youth after the congregation meeting discussing when we will have peace with the animals. The fifth featured young ones at the social gathering discussing what to look forward to in the paradise. That's something we can try at the social gatherings. The sixth talk showed two elders on a shepherding call talking with a sister about being guided by the new scrolls. How about that seventh talk? That video, wasn't that special? You're caught pretending you're trying to wipe something out from your eye there. I have something in your eye. You know, save it for later, you know, we'll have a good cry because that's what we have to look forward to, don't we? Resurrecting, Jehovah resurrecting our loved ones back. And the final talk, we saw our brother at the end of his day anticipating when he'll be able to praise Jehovah perfectly. The point is that at any time and under any circumstances, we can take that time to be happy about the hope that we have. It's not just wishful thinking. We're not just sitting here daydreaming, rocking, la la la. This is history in the making. This is our inheritance. Somebody said to me recently, "Oh, you witnesses, you believe in the light, don't you?" And I just had this image in my head of a person dressed in white floating towards this light. It was such a broad thought and expression. These are real promises that we have. This is absolute truth based on